Central Park to Austintown.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, good morning. My name is Steve Snyder. I'm the Senior Vice President of Corporate Development at Penn National. With me is Chris McElwain, who's our Vice President of Racing Operations.
You have a presentation today based upon what our conversations were, what we asked to you to review as regards to the seating.
We have, as directed by the Commission, gone back and looked at our seating plans for both the Mahoning Valley, we're talking about Mahoning Valley, for the Mahoning Valley facility, and we cannot enclose the bleacher seating without expanding the building. If we must expand the building and enclose the bleacher seating, we've got to go back and redesign the facility for two reasons. One, so that the sight lines of those enclosures do not affect the grandstand views. And two, because we have not been permitted nor gotten site plan approval for a facility with that expanded space, which would be approximately 9,000 square feet. So we have searched the building. We have asked our architects and our designers to come up with as many available seats in the existing envelope of the building as possible, and that is the plan that we presented to you last week. We have not, in the intervening 7 days, been able to find any additional seating inside the existing envelope of the building.
I think it would still, I'll speak, and then my fellow commissioners can speak. We would like to see expanded, if you could close that area and come up with another, where are you now, seating-wise?
Seating-wise?
Do you have that?
Inside, overlooking the track right now, between the top level and the bottom level, is approximately 520 overlooking.
It's 520 seats enclosed facing the racetrack. It's about 206 seats at that top area that we showed you in the video, where people can get up and see the racetrack if they choose to, and it's 650 seats in the bleacher area.
Well, what are your calculations based upon what they presented to us?
We calculate there were 518 seats. What we do?
Yeah,
we came up with 650.
Okay, and
there were 242 without it.
In the bleacher area, they have
650.
650?
Yeah, 325 on each side.
And you're telling us that you cannot do that, or you will not do it, or
no,
you have problems with doing it?
We can't do it on our current schedule. We have met with Mr. Chairman, yourself, and representatives of the Commission going back to November. We designed the envelope of the facility based on that dialogue. We've continued in good faith on a construction track. We are prepared to award bids for steel and foundation work this week on both of these projects and have a schedule which we presented to you last week that would allow us to open late in the second quarter of 2014. We cannot maintain that schedule and honor the request that the Commission has made. And we cannot maintain our budget and honor the request that the Commission has made. So we need to go back to the drawing board if that request is a condition for our approval. We are fully prepared to work with the Commission and expand this building in the future if and when demand dictates it. But we do not currently have a plan that is approved that we can proceed on that will allow us to construct a larger facility.
Gentlemen, anybody have anything to, Mr. Monroe?
Well, I'm encouraged here that there's at least some thought about what might happen in the future. I would certainly be interested. I think the other commission members would also be interested to see at least a concept as to how that facility could be expanded. I mean, as you know, we continue to have real concerns about amenities for the horse racing fans. You know, I'm from the Mahoning Valley. In fact, I lived in Austintown for a period of time, and my big fear is that there's going to be a lot of promotion. There's going to be a lot of excitement about this. I hear about this every week. There's a lot of buzz in the community about this racetrack opening. And nothing would disappoint me more than to find out that we've got fans who want to come and view horse racing and be disappointed because there aren't sufficient seats or there aren't sufficient enclosed seats. And that's our concern, Stephen. And I understand that you're on a tight time frame, and believe me, we want to see this project launch as soon as possible. But at the very least, if we could at least see some concepts as to what it would take to expand this facility down the road should become necessary.
Commissioner Monroe, let me address, you made two comments. One is providing the premium experience for racing fans at a Mahoning Valley Racecourse. And quite candidly, going back to our original November design, we thought we had done that because we provided for tiered seating in sort of dining table format with monitors at the tables and the ability to provide table service to those seats. We found out from this commission through this process that the number of seats were not adequate, so we replaced those table seats, which even others have testified they really like to see, with other fixed, dedicated arena-style seating in order to come up with what we're finding to be sort of an arbitrary seat count dedicated to racing. We don't think that's the right way to go. We didn't design this facility with that intent. We designed this facility to make it the premium racing experience in North America so that folks would sit down, have a meal, have a drink, enjoy the races. We have been scurrying.
Right, that was on the left side of the facility, as I recall.
It was the entire facility. It was the entire facility, if you recall back to our November plans. We have been scurrying with each input, each set of input that we've gotten from this commission to address your concerns in fashions that we do not think, nor have we seen throughout the United States, as to seating that we think today's racing customers want. In spite of that, we are trying to work diligently with the commission to come up with answers to address the concern as to the absolute number of seats, and we feel our design has already compromised the racing fan experience to a degree that we're very uncomfortable going further. In terms of being able to expand that building, if you have in front of you, because I've asked our construction team to take a look at that, if you have in front of you the Mahoning Valley plans dated March 20th, 2013, and I can direct you up to page 5, which is the second level of the facility, which does have the grandstand style seating. Page 5. I have asked our construction folks, if the demand is there, could we expand that dedicated seating out to both the left and to the right in a future expansion phase, which would be consistent with the existing roof lines, which would not affect anyone's sight lines. And the answer I have been given is yes, so long as we've got the budget to do it. So I don't have drawings to present to you today to show the expansion of that, but I can tell you that our architects and our design team have considered it, and it would, in the future, if the demand is there, allow for expansion of that dedicated seating area for racing.
I think what kind of sparked all of this was our initial realization that I think in those original plans there was really only good stadium seating for just barely over 200 fans.
That's correct.
And I think that's what caused us to have a real concern.
Well, there was no stadium seating. Well, there was modest stadium seating in the original plans. There was more table type seating, because that is what racing fans in 2013 prefer, based on our experience.
Yes, your bleacher seats,
Yes, sir.
your meet is, there's 650 total, correct, 325?
On each one,
325,
yes.
yeah. And your meet runs from November, December,
To April.
January, February, March.
Yes.
You know, I mean, you gotta be a heck of a race fan, or any kind of fan, to sit outside in the bleachers in December, January, February, and this March. I mean, you know,
I would have.
That is kind of like window dressing. No one's gonna sit in those seats. I mean,
I would have tried to tell you that was our smoking area, but that's not credible. Your point is well taken. We are racing in the day. So the question is, what is the demand for seating on daytime racing in the winter time?
it won't be sitting in the bleachers.
Based on our current experience of Beulah, it's not that great.
Beulah is not exactly a trip to Hollywood.
No facility in Ohio is.
Yeah, that's correct. And you're Hollywood, and you want to have a trip to Hollywood.
We want to generate the best racing experience in Ohio. And quite candidly, it's like anything else in life. If you are correct, and this becomes premium seating that people scurry to get into, first of all, that's a good thing. Second of all, if that is in fact the case in the future, we do have the ability to expand the space dedicated to racing. We will be in front of you every year for race dates. And rest assured, I expect with this commission chair that we will hear about it every year as we're asking for additional race dates. When are you going to expand the seating? If the demand that you were suggesting is material.
I think that, based upon conversations I've had with my fellow commissioners, that we would like to see another 650 seats that are enclosed. And how you come about that or how you do it is obviously a challenge to you, but that's a challenge that we have, and it'll probably be, as we move forward on this, a condition when we get around to approving the relocation application.
Understand. If I may, Mr. Chair, it would be extremely helpful to us if this commission considered rules that would provide us guidance so that we know as we go back to the drawing board and restart these projects, what we need to do in advance in order to get guidance from this commission. Because this process is broken. This process where we've gone ahead and spent millions of dollars on design and concept based on a plan that we presented to certain members of this commission last November, and now we're finding is unacceptable. We just need to stop, take a step back, and respectfully request that you provide us the guidance in the form of rules and regulations so that we don't have to play this game of presenting various alternatives and getting a response that it's not acceptable.
Mr. Snyder, I think that we've just, I've expressed what those expectations are. Another 650 seats that are comfortable for racing fans. So you take what you have, what you currently have, add 650 to it, and I think we would be fine with that. We're not asking for 3,000, we're not asking for 5,000. We're looking in the 1,100 to 1,250.
And that is part of an opening plan as opposed to a phase
Yes,
for, a
yes,
plan for expansion that
yes,
will accommodate that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any other comments or observations?
On this or the overall picture?
Well, let's yeah, go ahead on this plan we have here. My current plan. But I would implore you that probably in the next, you give me a time frame on what you need to come back to this commission with your plans. 2 weeks, the middle of.
Oh no, it's measured in months, sir, because we've got to go back. Once we have plans, we've got to then go back and get permitting and the site plan approval modified.
As I understood from the zoning officer of Austintown, that was not a too difficult thing to do. Now, tell me the other.
No, we haven't gotten to Dayton yet. We'll get to Dayton.
Well, we're still in Austin.
We're still in Austintown.
Right.
As it relates to Austintown, the zoning officer did tell you what their process is at the Austintown Township trustees level. Because there are wetlands involved in that site, there are things over and above the Austintown approvals that we need to test as we expand that building.
Well, we've already
and
been
create-
told about that buffer.
You've been told about the buffer, that's not wetlands.
I understand.
There's wetlands to the west of the property that as a result of expanding the building, we create different drainage phenomena from the larger roof, the larger building, that we now must go back and test the wetlands. This is Mr. Chairman, with all due respect to your mechanical engineering class that you took 4 times, this is
No,
this
it
is
was mechanical drawing.
Mechanical
I
drawing.
never got to the engineering part of it.
Okay. This is a
They
Rubik's.
threw me out of wood and metal class.
They threw you out?
Yeah.
You didn't have to
I
take that
went
one 4
much.
times?
3.
Okay. Now, with all due respect, this is a Rubik's Cube. When we start expanding the building, there are other pieces of the puzzle in 3 dimensions that change, that we must go back to. So we're comfortable that we can come back to you. We need the public to understand and you to understand that going back to the drawing board to expand the building will extend these contracts, the construction of these facilities by at least 6 months.
Okay, that's your choice. I think that's a direction that the commission is headed. And if you want to come back in 6 months, Mr. Snyder, that's fine.
It is not our choice, sir. It is not our preference. It is reality. If we have to expand the building, we must stop what we're doing, redesign the building, come back to you, come back to the DEP, come back to the Austintown Township trustees, and get new approvals, because we're changing our project. It's a new project. If we take the approach, a reasonable approach, which is, let's build what's here. Let's come back and not compromise any of the approvals that are in place, any of the construction contracts that are ready to be awarded, and expand this when market demand dictates. We can do that without compromising our schedule. To honor your request, these projects, these jobs, this investment in Ohio will be delayed by 6 months or more. So it's not our choice.
Well, that, you understand where the commission is.
With all due respect, Mr. Chairman, I would, if it's possible, I would welcome direction from each of the members, either in the form of a vote or comments, as we've heard from some of the members.
Are you telling us that the vote will be when we approve your relocation application, which we have not done?
I understand.
Now, I will entertain a motion to